The rest is history. James Brown and the famous Fifeshire, pipe, and fiddle players were never to perform again together on the same stage. But if you listen closely to the James Brown sound on such hits as I Can't Stand Myself, Sex Machine, and You Take the High Road, I'll Take the Night Train, you can hear traces of a Scottish burr. And R&B aficionados also claim that if you play Hot Pants Part 2 backwards, you can hear James Brown's wife screaming out, live from New York, it's Saturday night.
Hello and welcome to the Not Ready for Primetime Project. We're Gary Seath and Brad Robinson.
And you're not.
This week on the early years of SNL, we're talking about Season 5, Episode 6, with host Howard Hesseman and musical guest Randy Newman. This show originally aired on December 8th, 1979. Brad, how about we take a trip to Cincinnati?
How about it? Howard Hesseman. Look, the essence of 70s cool here.
I mean, he just looks like it. With just by seeing him, you're like, oh yeah, this guy is 70s cool. And who knows more about 70s cool?
I was going to say, you know who's 70s cool?
Yeah, our friend Bill Kenney. Bill, welcome back to the show.
Hello, gents. How are you? Good to be here.
Always good. One of our most favorite people to talk to and with.
Oh. Right back at you both. Yes.
And about when you're not here. But all good things.
I heard the shout out in the first week about play the hits, Brad. And boy, will I have something to say about that when we get to Randy Newman.
Oh, Jesus. All right. Well, we got to ask, Bill. So we've been doing something season 5. Anybody who comes on as a guest, we're saying, pick your episode. Who do you want? And you chose this episode, Howard Hesseman. So I am asking, I've narrowed it down to possibly 3 things. Tell me it's got to be one of these 3. A, in the 70s, late 70s, you wanted to be Johnny Fever. B, you are doing research for your upcoming Head of the Class podcast. Or C, Clue the movie.
All of the above. No, it's definitely number 1, or A, as it were. Yeah, no, listen, WKRP is one of my favorite shows from when I was a kid. And I think if you're of a certain age, as I am, there was a natural progression for cool guys on TV. And, you know, I started with Happy Days when I was little and the Fonz and the jacket and the whole thing. And then you get a little bit older, 4, 5, 6 years down the road. And it's like, oh, look at this guy. Now, this guy don't give a fuck. Like, this is great. Like, so, this is something. I had a poster of him from Dynamite magazine. I don't know if you remember this.
Oh,
but,
wow.
Oh, my God.
It was a poster of him and Lonnie Anderson and I'm forgetting her name, Bailey Quarters. And It was the 3 of them. And he had a coffee mug with all the different names that he had used on radio shows. And the final one was Johnny Fever. Yeah, this was the quintessential cool guy in 79, 80, 81.
And Howard Hesseman just embodies that character. Even just like you said, Brad, just his look, even off screen, not as Johnny Fever. He's just got that look of like he shows up in a leather jacket with a tie,
rocks a mustache like none other.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, I don't know. He really does look like cool late 70s.
Yeah.
Dude that you want to hang out with and just kind of shoot the shit.
Like not trying, like just is cool. He's not trying. He just is. Yeah.
How do you think that holds up in this episode though, Bill?
I think it holds up pretty well because you get to see his background as an improv guy. He co-founded the committee, so that was a big deal having somebody like this come into the show. You feel like, almost like with the Carrie Fisher, where he's a friend of the show, even though he's never been on the show. You feel like he's kind of probably hanging out with guys like Belushi and Aykroyd, even though they're not on the show in season 5. He probably knows all these guys and he's been hanging out with them in different variations. So, he just fits right into this cast, which desperately needs help at this point in season 5.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. And having someone like Howard Hesseman with the comedic background is a big win for this show, Brad, especially after, Bill Russell and some of our other hosts.
Yeah, and like Bill said, being on the committee, you see that influence and that background in this. And Howard Hesseman's, he's no spring chicken. He's been around for a little while. He was in the movies back in the 60s. He's in 2 movies we like to talk about, Gary, Billy Jack and The Big Bus.
That's right.
2 quality flicks. But I think he brings that with him on this episode. And I think we'll talk about it. He does a stellar job. I think he's got to go near the top of the list of like most adaptable, fun hosts of this era, because he just slides right in there.
He really does. And it's interesting because I was surprised, and we'll get to this, but he plays himself at a certain point, and that kind of threw me off, where I was like, I was not expecting that from him, but the way in which he does it's like, oh yeah, no, this makes sense, and he makes it work, and it doesn't feel like a crutch like it often does for your Bill Russells or your, Fran Tarkentons, as it were.
Oh yeah. That you're right. One of the best like portrayals of oneself. Yeah, he does a great job.
Yeah.
In that scene, that sketch.
And to think about at this point in the show's tenure, there's not a lot of sitcom people come into the show, right? From my count, current sitcom people, this is only the 7th one ever. So you've had B. Arthur, you've had some people from Mary Hartman, and Fernwood Tonight. But this is not something in season 5 and almost 100 episodes in that they tend to lean into. So there was a trust there probably because of his background. And I mean, WKRP was white hot at this point, even though, as we will get to, it's getting bounced all over the schedule and getting treated like crap by CBS.
But he's doing well. I think this is the season he gets nominated for an Emmy. He gets nominated 2 years in a row for an Emmy. I think this is his first of 2. So it's to that point, the show is white hot. He's doing great.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's fun to see him. Should we just get into it?
Let's do it.
Do the thing.
All right. So the cold open starts with Don Kirshner telling us about James Brown's roots. Before he was the James Brown that we all know and love, he had to leave his Scottish roots behind him. And so we go to seeing him in Scotland rehearsing with his Scottish band. So this is kind of crazy. Like this, just right off the bat, it's like an insane concept to start the show.
Yeah, which is good. And it's one of those ones where it's so crazy they can't figure out a way to put it on. So they shoehorn it into a Don Kirshner Great Moments in Rock and Roll sketch.
Yes.
And knowing now what we know about Eddie in a couple years doing James Brown, I was reticent to go back and watch this because I'm like, I hadn't seen this episode in a few years. And I'm like, oh God, like it's not going to be Hot Tub. But Garrett does a good job here, I think, right? I think, I mean, his singing background, what he's able to do with something like this, he's got to be more front and center now with Danny and John gone. So this makes sense to have here. And of course, we get Peter Aykroyd, who, even though he's all over this episode, this strange ass season doesn't even get mentioned in the opening credits.
No. This is his highest profile role yet, right, Gary, that we've seen?
I think so.
Top of the show, good speaking role. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's interesting. I think we saw him. He did a voiceover earlier this season, and I heard it here too. You can hear the similarities between him and Dan just in their voice and in the inflection, and it's fun. But like you were saying, Bill, I think Garrett was great as James Brown. We haven't seen any James Brown yet. This is our first time, and he's really good. I mean, I think this is the first sketch we've actually seen Garrett carry this season too.
Well, feels like it. It definitely feels like it. Yeah.
We haven't seen a lot of Garrett, considering this is our 6th show, and we're without Dan and John. And you would think they would lean on him more, but they haven't. So this I thought was a good start and a fun way to do that, to incorporate him.
And he's not in drag, so you got that going for him.
That's right.
That's true. He is wearing a kilt, but not a skirt, so that's good.
Fair. Okay.
Yeah, I thought this was a fun cold open, a good way to start the show, and just like that absurdity was fun. I didn't like that they went back to Don Kirshner, to be honest with you.
Again, But they didn't have an out. That's the only thing. Like, it's such a weird sketch, like you mentioned. It's so bizarre. There's no out other than, and they've done this the last time when they had great moments where there's no out, and so you shoehorn it with the Don Kirshner intro, and then you come back to him afterwards, and it doesn't really add much.
Yeah, it doesn't. And I think this is the last time we see him, though, right?
It is. Yeah, it's our
Yeah.
last Kirshner. But I like the meat of the sketch. Like we were saying, the Garrett doing James Brown. The idea is really ridiculous, but it works. And I love if you listen to him singing and like the "Please Don't Go" and kind of the call and response with the female singers. It's really fun and kind of a smart way to do it. It just you could just tell they had no way out of it.
Yeah.
And so they're like, let's throw it as a cold open and go back to Paul Schaefer.
Right. Yeah. I thought using Paul as the setup was good and it worked. Honestly, rather than a scroll, I liked Don Kirshner, but it was just the out that I was like, I could have used something else, but I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
Well, from there, we roll into the monologue and Howard Hesseman comes out. Like I said earlier, he's in this leather jacket, just being cool. Howard Hesseman, he doesn't give a shit. And he kind of launches into a stand-up, like a monologue. His monologue is a monologue, but he's talking about how, the government doesn't want you to talk about Iran because of all of the problems going on in Iran right now. But he's certain that the Shah watches Saturday Night Live because he's a big Mr. Bill fan. That got a lot of jokes. And then he did some callback stuff with the audience, which was fun.
There's always some idiot in the crowd who'll say, "What if it takes forever?" What if it takes forever? Check is on the way, sir.
Yeah, I know there's always been debate whether that was planned or not, but it doesn't feel like it because the look on his face, but he recovers quickly, as you said, Gary.
Yeah, I think that look, either he was brilliant, but the timing of the way that he had that look to me, it looks real.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I like this one. It's very political, which is something we haven't seen this era often. A couple times earlier in the season, they'd have guests on. Remember Gilda or Candace Bergen would interview, but to have kind of an overtly political piece, because it's not the most funny monologue in the world, but you can tell he's got that 60s San Francisco background behind him where he's, pissed about stuff and wants to voice his opinion and get it out there, but is smart in how he does it. So I enjoyed watching it. It was fun. It was also interesting that, and I guess, we'll see it in the next sketch, but the first time they've actually even addressed the Iran hostages and stuff, right? It's been about a month since that's started.
Right. Yeah, it's interesting to see that. That took me back too, because that's one of the first political things that I remember. I can remember everybody having the newspapers in their window for free the hostages and things like that. So, it's strange that they haven't mentioned this before this. And they talk about the First Amendment, which, funny enough, is still a thing today.
Yeah, right. I had that note at one point, kind of poignant these days, no?
Yeah.
Okay.
There were a few jokes they made throughout this episode that I was
Yes.
like, oh, this still rings true today, sadly enough.
Yes.
Yeah. It's insane.
And I got to say, one of the things I liked most about this, he just commands the stage, which is not always the case, even for performers like actors and whatever. He just comes in and, again, not doing a comedy monologue on a comedy show. He just owns that stage, which was fun to see, just to watch, and like a comfort level as you know you're going to be, all right, I'm fine. We're going to be okay.
That's what I was going to say. You can tell he's comfortable being on stage in front of people, which, some actors, like especially film actors and whatever, are not used to at all. And some people get intimidated by the fact that they're on live TV. He did, there was nothing. He was totally comfortable when he walked on that stage and was just like, here we go. I'm going to talk to you all about Iran.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we're still in an era, right, where if they're not going to do a good monologue, they only get a 2-second monologue, right? You get,
right.
We'll be right back, and they go right. No, they give him all the time, and if you're watching this in 1979, you probably feel pretty good about what Howard's going to be able to do on the show.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that's a good phrase too. They give him, because I feel this is a Howard Hesseman monologue. Because again, we haven't heard about they haven't addressed this much. It's very interesting. Like Howard Hesseman comes on, and the first time we see him, this is what he talks about. I gotta feel he's very heavy-handed in writing this.
It felt like it. It felt like something that he may have written by himself, or possibly with Harry Shearer. Who knows? I'm speculating, but it would make sense.
Yeah, totally.
Well, we stay on that political, the kind of overtly political stream that we're on with our next sketch, which is the Bell Arabs, which starts with this whole opening title sequence.
Tons of production value here.
A lot.
Yeah.
And it is, this is parody of Beverly Hillbillies where they take the song and parody it to the Bell Arabs.
Listen to a story about a man named Abdul. A poor Bedouin barely kept his family full. Then one day he was shooting at some Jews, and up from the ground came bubbling crude oil, that is. Persian Perrier, Kool-Aid, Saudi soda. Oh, well, the first thing you know, Abdul's a billionaire. The kinfolk said, Abdul, move away from there. They said, California is the place without a care, so they loaded up the rolls and they moved to Bel Air. Next to Beverly Hills, that is. Swimming pools, movie stars, Jews. The Bell Arabs!
And then we go to the house where we see Bill and Gilda. My first note on the whole sketch was Gilda. Oof.
Again, she's full.
Yes.
We haven't seen Gilda play this character since the wonderful Cicely Tyson episode.
Right. We've seen her be offensive in other ways since then, but not in this way.
Oh no, exactly this way. It's the same person she did that fall right. the Shah or whatever it was, and she's in the lobby. Yeah. It's the exact same character. Now you're like, oh right.
Yeah.
You blocked it out because it was Cicely Tyson.
No, it had nothing to do with her. We see Don Kirshner. No, we don't. Not Don Kirshner.
Again?
It would be funny if we saw Don Kirshner. It would be
great if Don Kirshner walked in, like with Hathaway or whatever. That'd be great.
We see Don Novello for the first time in another character, as the father of this family.
Abdul, as they stated with the opening of the song. Come listen to a story about a man named Abdul.
Yes.
Right. So we see Don Novello as Abdul. Bill plays his son, and Lorraine plays his daughter. And then the doorbell rings, and they don't know that it's a doorbell.
Where are these bells? What does it mean?
Yeah. And then Garrett and Howard Hesseman come on as two guys who basically they're just con men trying to get them to write checks for their bank. And this sketch,
their savings and loan. What are their names? Like Will and Stan Saving and Loan.
It was Bob and Lydell.
You were close.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean this sketch, and it just goes through until Jane comes in as Ms. Hathaway.
Jane. Jane is great as Ms. Hathaway. So Come on.
Yeah,
how great is Jane?
How great is Jane? This was I don't know. It felt a little long, to be honest with you, for me. After it kept going and going, I kind of just wish that Howard and Garrett got to the point with the con a little faster.
That's season 5, baby.
I know.
How many episodes in a row is this now? First set up, first sketch up, boom, 10, 12 minutes.
Yeah.
Wow, you spend that much in an opening song, you have to, just keep going with it, right?
Honestly,
Bill,
Bill,
it's kind of an awesome set.
The set is great.
Yeah.
It is an awesome set, but after all of this, I was really into the opening montage, the sequence, the production value that you talked about. Yeah. I thought that was great. And part of me was like, that could have been enough for me. Like, that could have been enough as a thing.
Yes.
Rather than dragging it out into this where I feel like I lost a lot of my energy that I had.
It was very draining, and I think the guild of it all is really rough. Obviously,
it is rough. It is.
Yeah.
And it was rough the first time we saw it.
Yeah, and Bill painting the pubic hair on the statue is such a strange thing to see. Now that funny. Aired live, right? But in repeats they got rid of it. Is that correct?
I think they did. I think I've read that somewhere. Yeah.
Him drawing the treasure line from the belly button. oh, the 12-year-old in me came out again. I'm like, yeah, this just was way too long. But Howard's good here. I think Howard and Garrett both do a great job. Jane is definitely the star of this. I'm not a huge Beverly Hillbillies fan, but she nails Miss Hathaway. Like, this is to a T. She's able to do this impression.
It's kind of perfect for her, really. Like,
yes,
yeah, if you're going to do anything with Beverly Hillbillies, you just pencil her right in. That's great.
Yeah.
I think they do a great job of hooking you in the beginning because that song is really great. They do a great job of converting the song over. And the production value is really great. But then once they kind of, like you said, it just over and over. It actually took you a little while, or at least me a little while, to realize they were like con guys trying to con them because it takes so long to get there, and they don't really. And then you're finally like, oh, okay,
Right.
like you lose it in the length.
Yeah. No, that's exactly what happened to me.
And Lorraine's basically playing a Connie Conehead version of, right? With the, can I go to
sure.
the football game? Can I go with my friends? No.
Yeah. Yep. That's right. It's like the same question too. Yeah.
Yeah. And Howard gets a good joke in here too, right? At least I was able to sell my watch. So
Yeah.
doesn't need that anymore.
$200. I'll give you $500 for this. 1,000, 1,000, 2,000. It just keeps going up and up and up.
Yeah. That was fun.
I mean, aside from the political incorrectness of it all, it's kind of a fun, smart sketch of like spoofing Beverly Hillbillies, which is fun. I mean, again, these are guys who grew, people who grew up watching the Beverly Hillbillies. So I kind of like the idea what they tried to do.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Yeah, again, I feel like that's a season 5 thing where I'm like, oh, I really like the concept far more than I like the execution. And for me, it really was because that opening song was so good.
It's so good.
I don't think the rest of it really could have held up to that at all. And didn't.
No.
You know, it does hold up though. Randy Newman.
Timeless.
He is. He comes on and sings "It's Money That I Love." I enjoyed this.
Good, fun song. I like the song.
Song is
Randy
fine. It's not a
Oh,
hit,
here we go.
Brad. It's not a hit. He's friend of the show, so we'll give him a little slack for not playing the hits. I mean, he can't play short people every time he comes on. So, no, listen, I enjoy Randy to a certain point. I think he gets very samey, and this is what, the third or fourth time he's been on the show. So
I mean, I'm fairly certain that's the same shirt he wore the last time he was on.
he lives in the back with he lives.
It
in
was
the
my
back with
first
Tom
note.
Davis.
It's the same exact outfit he wore last time.
I'm pretty sure that's all Randy Newman wore in the 70s. So that's okay.
Yeah, I look forward to his season 8 when he sings my song "I Love L.A." But this is fine. This is no hate here.
I think he was trying to sing the hits. I mean, he just had a new album out that he thought was going to be really good. This album called Born Again. I think this was the first single off that. It's the first track. So, and again, like now we know this song. So I think at the time he was hoping this was a hit or going to be a bigger hit than it was. So,
yeah.
But it's been a minute. We haven't seen him since season 3 on the show. So we haven't seen Randy Newman in a while.
Yeah.
And they give him 2 tunes. You can tell he's from the
that's
show.
what I was
They give
gonna
him 2
say.
songs. Yeah.
Right. Next he plays "I'm Gonna Take Off My Pants," which he sets up by saying this is another religious number.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it is, to your point, it's very Randy Newman, right, Bill? It's kind of not the same, but it's like that this was a Randy Newman tune.
I mean, listen, when Family Guy spoofed him in their first or second season with left foot, right foot, and I'm gonna pick an apple off the tree, there was something there. So again, like this is not somebody who I'm gonna sit around and listen to like 20 of his songs in a row, because you're just gonna feel like you're hearing the same thing over and over again. But it's fine. It's no Chicago, but it's fine.
Few are.
I mean, a lot are, because Chicago has so many people in that damn band and they never trim that down. They just keep replacing. So there are a lot of people in Chicago.
I would argue, though, the second song, I didn't think it sounded like a Randy Newman song. I thought it was a very different sound for Randy Newman, which I didn't really care for. But to give any kind of credit, at least it sounded different. But yeah, I mean, it was kind of an iffy album that came out, which might be why he didn't make an album for like 3 or 4 years.
Well, that, and he was writing Three Amigos. Well, they finally make Randy Newman stop singing so they can have Weekend Update come on. And Jane leads off with what I thought was a pretty good joke about Ted Kennedy's wife, his estranged wife at the time, saying that she said if Ted Kennedy won the presidential election, she would move into the White House, and which led to Ted Kennedy immediately withdrawing. I thought that was a good joke.
You just liked it wasn't a Chappaquiddick joke, which I agree with.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yes.
I really did.
Yeah, I knew.
But I also really like Jane's delivery. To be honest, like, again, it's Jane. Yeah.
Yep.
How great is Jane? Some more jokes about, Supreme Court, oil prices, drug use at McDonald's from their little coffee stirrers, I guess.
Do you remember those spoons?
I don't.
I remember those very clearly. Yeah.
No.
It was a huge controversy. I didn't know why they disappeared at the time. I was little, but
Bill did a lot of cocaine off of those spoons.
I really did. I was eating my Happy Meal and just snorting coke in the back. Yeah. Precocious 7-year-old I was. No, they were just something that were fun to play with besides, like, I wasn't drinking coffee, but they just kind of disappeared. And this is why. It was funny to go back and look at this and go, oh, wow, that's why that happened.
And then we see our old friend who we haven't seen since last season.
Since his failed attempt to come back with the Mets. Yeah.
But this is the first time we see him on the desk since even early in season 4.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So Chico Escuela comes on, and he's not allowed to talk about this paternity suit against him, but he is allowed to talk about, sports and sports updates. And he just makes a lot of jokes. I really liked the backboard joke where he's like, you can't use rubber because rubber breaks.
Rubber breaks, but I can't talk about that. Very funny. Because there's another, doesn't he have a line similar when the guy, he's talking about the football player running and he runs with authority. And then he says, I run from authority, but I can't talk about that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love these old sports clips. That's always one of the highlights when he comes on, because these are not clips you're seeing anywhere else. Nobody's talking about Charles White and his Heisman run in 1979. So, and Daryl Dawkins, Jesus Christ, how old is this guy? Like, he was still playing when I was in college. Like, what?
Yeah,
man.
Back-to-back Daryl Dawkins references on Weekend Update. I love it.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, it's great to see this. I mean, Garrett is just... he finally found a place, and I love that for him, because he was so maligned for the first 3.5 years. So to be able to see something that really strikes with people, to this day, if you mention Garrett Morris, this is what they're going to, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this was fun. It was great to see him on the desk again too in this. It was a lot of fun to see those films from spring training, but to have him back and doing something more was great.
Yeah, it's fun to see him in person. Yeah.
Then we get some more jokes, Glickman jokes, Steve McQueen jokes.
Got the Glickman poll going.
That's right. And then we get social sciences editor Al Franken comes on to talk about the end of the 70s and the 70s decade.
Well, the me decade is just about over, and good riddance as far as I'm concerned. The 70s were simply 10 years of people thinking about nothing but themselves. No wonder we were unable to get together and solve any of the many serious problems facing our nation. Oh, sure, some people did do some positive things during the 70s, like jogging, but always for the wrong reason, for their own personal selfish benefit. Well, I believe the 80s are going to have to be different. And I think that people are going to stop thinking about themselves and start thinking more about me, Al Franken. That's right, I believe we're entering what I like to call the Al Franken decade. Oh, for me, Al Franken, the 80s will be pretty much the same as the 70s. I'll still be thinking about me, Al Franken. But for you out there, instead of thinking in terms of your own life all the time, you'll be thinking more about how things affect me, Al Franken. When you see a news report, you'll be thinking, I wonder what Al Franken thinks about this thing. I wonder how this inflation thing is hurting Al Franken. And you women will be thinking, what can I wear that will please Al Franken? Or what can I not wear?
This was fun. This was this to me is a really fun Al Franken bit where I'm all in on Al Franken here, as opposed to some other times we see him on the desk where I'm like, all right, I feel like it can be a stretch, but this was a good one.
Yeah, this is something that I think was still being played a lot going into the late 80s and 90s. And of course, he brings it back 2 more times at the end of the next 2 decades with his son and the millennium, so he never has to come back again. But yeah, I mean, this was something when I went back and watched this original era, this connected the eras for me because he's obviously at the desk with Dennis Miller and doing the mobile uplink unit in the late 80s. So to have somebody from the original era be on the show that I'm watching in the late 80s with the second golden era was really nice to have that connection there. And this is the most famous one, right? I would think that as far as what he does at the desk.
This or, the Silverman bit, maybe.
Right. He probably wants to forget about that one, but yes, yeah, you're right.
But no, we've been talking this season, Gary, Al Franken in sketches versus Al Franken at the desk. And Al Franken at the desk, I feel is where he's strongest. And we saw it a little bit last week where he played himself in a role and it was decent. It was funny. I think this is where he really sticks the landing on Al Franken correspondent, which we're going to see for another 25 years, 30 years, sporadically as he keeps coming back. But it works. It works. It's really good. It's really funny.
Yeah. I mean, I think the way that he writes for himself to camera really works. Rather than him trying to act, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But just I feel like there's a certain level of authority he has when speaking to camera that he gives himself in what he's saying, and it really works.
Yeah,
he should run for Senate the way he's able to.
Yeah. Well, that's it for Weekend Update. It was not a lot of meat to this Weekend Update. Again, I feel like they've been short this season.
Yeah, but not bad. Chico was good. Franken was good. Jokes were good. Better than normal. Yeah.
There's one joke I have a quibble with that I have to say. Nancy Lopez being struck by lightning, and they show this old lady. She's 22 at the time. What is? What am I missing there?
I don't know. I as well was like, why is it an old woman? I'm not getting the joke. But that one was weird.
Yeah, lost to time, I suppose.
That's how I took it. I was like, I'm missing something here.
Yeah.
Next up is a sketch with Howard and Gilda not screaming at us in another language. And they are a couple who are about to host Gilda's ex, Scott, played by Bill. So Bill then comes in as Gilda's former lover, and she introduces them as my new old man. This is my old man, which I thought was funny.
That's a good note.
So the premise of this is that Bill comes into town as her ex, and Howard is her new boyfriend who's working on himself. He says, I understand you were a better lover than I am but that's something I'm working on. And the whole premise is just that Howard's trying to work on himself to better himself to be with Gilda. Yeah.
First off, can we bring back old man as something? I mean, I've been married 18 years. My wife has never called me her old man. So I would like to start a campaign for old man to come back as a...
Well, I think certain people in society get pissed with the phrase old lady, and you can't have old man without old lady. So it's like, if we don't,
well, maybe if we embrace old man, old lady will come around.
Maybe. I don't know. And then we can start calling people broads again. And anyway, moving on.
Yeah. Just note,
Bill, I only have 3 episodes in the 70s left. Let me get it all out.
Yeah. Right. Because broads is a term that Brad has carried with him forward. And there are only so many times he can say, I watched a show from the 70s.
You're so woke.
I thought the play back and forth here between Bill and Howard Hesseman was a lot of fun when it got to just the two of them.
Yeah, I think the interesting thing, one of the things that I like here is that he's supposed to be an actor, and you get a dig here. I don't know if you guys caught this. I'm sure you did. But he's supposed to be in this Broadway show, but he's also the third taste bud in Budweiser commercial. These were huge in the late 70s, and look them up, kids. It is they got sued because they used a Blues Brothers fake 2 Blues Brothers characters in the first ad. They played it during SNL, and they got sued by NBC and SNL for using the characters without permission.
Oh, for Budweiser?
Yes.
Oh,
and,
wow.
and they're creepy looking, like it's what it is. It's taste buds. They're in
Yeah.
somebody's mouth. It's really weird looking. But yeah, for him to kind of reference that, you gotta think that Lauren was sitting there just going, yeah, screw these guys over at Bud.
No, not Lorne. He's not
No.
spiteful.
But yeah, I mean, mostly it works. I think, this slice of life that you get in this era, this is something that really works. And, Howard's supposed to be this very hip with the guy. And obviously when that's put to the test, it doesn't really work.
Right.
My first note on this was, holy shit, this is only the second sketch of the night after the monologue.
Right.
I was like, we've already
Yeah.
passed Weekend Update, and this is only the second sketch. It's the whole timing and flow of this episode is so weird. And then, yeah, I agree. Decent sketch. It's an interesting take on the slice of life. And it was almost a little bit kind of too weird to be a normal slice of life sketch. But I agree. Bill and Howard Hesseman are great together. That you mentioned it. There's that conversation about, I hear you're a better lover than I, and I'm working on it. And that back and forth was really smart and really fun. But another one kind of longish that kind of meandered on us a little bit. But performances was good. Hesseman was great.
Yeah, honestly, it wasn't as long as it felt. And I think part of that was because they were just sitting there. It was a lot of once they sat down, they were just there, and it was a lot of weird back and forth. And honestly, it felt like some weird camera choices to use for that. But I was surprised when I checked. It wasn't a particularly long sketch, though it felt like it. But the next sketch, Howard plays Howard Hesseman.
There you go.
He's going on the morning radio show of the DJ played by Harry Shearer, Steve Marvin. And this is just, Howard Hesseman playing himself going on a promo tour for WKRP in Cincinnati. And he does a morning stopover at this radio show, this local radio show. And Harry Shearer as a local DJ, I thought was perfect.
Hey, we are sitting here chewing the fat with one of my favorite guys from radio by TV here on Stereo 105, Howard Hesseman. Howard was just telling me during the commercial, of course, we listened to the commercials, but you were telling me in between them that you do this Howard Cosell bit that you want to share with the folks. Let's hear it.
Okay, I don't think that's actually what I said, Steve, but if you want me to butcher Howard Cosell so you can do your Frank Gifford bit, I'm game.
Howard's pulling my leg a little bit because I put him on the spot a little early this morning, and I understand it. Hey, we are doing something pretty important, Howard, that maybe could be, a story for one of your shows. I don't know, where do you guys get your ideas for the show?
Well, some of our writers worked in radio, and then a lot of times we just take old Dick Van Dyke scripts and change the plot.
What we're doing is we're giving away armbands to say free the hostages, and I'm sure what you'd like to do is, stick around after the show, maybe autograph 50 or 100 of them, and we could auction them off, raise some money, send the money over to the hostages, just forward it over to them and let them know that the Americans are behind them, and I know I'm putting you on the spot a little bit, but...
You're going to forward the money to the hostages?
Yeah, or open a trust fund for them, something like that.
Trust fund?
Sure.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I mean, he wrote this based on experience he had with a real life DJ in San Francisco, like a completely guy oblivious trying to give an interview to morning talk show guy. But yeah, I mean, there is a lot going on here. And I mean that in a good way. Like, it's a fun premise. The writing, as you mentioned, fantastic. The performances are just clicking. This is where you mentioned earlier, Gary, it's Howard Hesseman playing Howard Hesseman, but it's so good. Like, it's not stiff, and it's a character. It's a character almost of Howard Hesseman. He's so good, and all the delivery and the back and forth is so much fun. And SNL's done this a couple times in this era of these, radio DJ sketches, whether it's Dan playing the DJ or Bill Murray playing the DJ, where it's kind of, you take the peek behind the curtain and it's all jokes on audio and what you're hearing, juxtaposition with what you see. I just think this is a fantastic sketch, and these guys both just kill it.
And they do a really great thing with the production. When they're on air, they're speaking into these mics, and you hear their audio from those microphones. But then when they're just talking to one another while a commercial's playing or whatever, they use totally different mics. So you have that totally different sound, which it gets screwed up at the end of the sketch, unfortunately. But when it's working, it works really well, and it kind of makes you feel like, oh yeah, this is a totally different radio thing.
Yeah.
When Harry Shearer's adjusting Howard, he put again, like you can't hear it, but he's like, push to the left, closer, and Howard keeps moving back and forth. Then when Bill walks in, something wrong with Howard's levels? He just sounds like
You guys brought up a good point a couple weeks ago with, knowing what happens with Harry and how unhappy he is. It's impossible to tell right here because he really brings it. He's perfect for this kind of role. And it is really interesting to see he's nonchalant and he's almost dickish, but he just brings it up to that line. He doesn't go over the line as he's like, no, hold on, let me finish this. Or, and Hesseman's great here. Again, like even grabbing him by the neck to kind of rein it back in. It's really fantastic. Billy has a great little role here coming in as the newsman, telling him how he should be running his TV show. He would never wear a suit. Around the studio.
Oh, Les Nessman.
Yes.
I just liked how Harry Shearer did not stop moving the whole time. He's putting the carts back and like playing different things and
making
has the
notes.
little horn and he was great.
It was so good. And he throws off like really offhanded lines that really stick. Like, what's your opinion on this whole Iran thing? and he then goes back into like reading the news and stuff. And Howard Hesseman's like, what the fuck?
And they're going to commercial too. He's like, before we go to commercial.
I thought this was a really, really well done, really well thought out sketch too.
Yeah, it makes you feel like it's a shame because Harry Shearer has this in him. And we saw it like last week with that Save Coke Pitchman sketch, and now this. It's like, and I like that Backers Audition sketch he wrote. It's like you can see Harry Shearer knows what he's doing, and when he's allowed to do it, he shines.
Yeah.
We should say, did you know, Gary? I was researching this morning DJ character that he came up with. He said he went back to this well when Harry Shearer cameoed in Wayne's World 2, when the guys are in a DJ booth and he's playing a DJ. He's like, and he's like ignoring everything they say, and he's putting the tapes and checking the tapes and doing all that stuff. Okay. He said, this is based on it was based on a sketch I came up with Howard Hesseman on SNL, and then I pulled it back out for the movie.
Yeah. Now I want to rewatch Wayne's World 2 just to watch that part.
I watched the scene again. It is really funny because like Wayne and Garth start catching on and they look at each other like, we're just here to have fun. And give back. To the community. Oh yeah. It's a fun scene. It's a really fun scene with Mike Myers and Dana Carvey and him.
Oh, that's good. That's funny. Well, our next sketch, we get another prominent role from Peter Aykroyd, who, as you mentioned, Bill, not mentioned anywhere in the credits or anything.
They gave Don Novello a credit this week, right? Finally.
Yeah.
Yes.
Featured player. But yeah, no Peter Aykroyd. Yeah, it's so bizarre.
No. So this is the nuclear family. So this is a family whose house is situated between 3 cooling towers of a nuclear plant. Jane plays the mother. Howard plays the father who works at the nuclear plant. Peter Aykroyd, as I mentioned, plays the son, and Lorraine plays the daughter, and they're all just really tired. They have clumps of hair falling out of their heads because they all have, they have radiation poisoning, basically, is the joke that's not said out loud.
I love the opening shot of this. It's another TV parody, and the nuclear family, they have this really cool shot where they're on the nuclear towers, and then the camera kind of pulled back, and then you see the houses that are kind of near the vicinity thereof to set up the nuclear family. I did like that.
This is very strange. I can't imagine that this was found to be funny at this point, because everybody had this fear of these, nuclear plants being built in their towns. 3 Mile Island was only 8 or 9 months before this happened. Right. So I don't know. It just felt like a lot of forced laughter as, his teeth are falling out, his hair. And there wasn't a lot of joke there either. So I don't know. This lost me as much as Howard tried to save this. I didn't love this one.
The thing that I kept getting confused on, I just don't know enough, but I found it odd that they were all so lethargic. Like living by the nuclear power plant made everybody tired and lazy. I don't know. In some reason in my mind, I feel like you'd get like superpowers if you live by a nuclear power plant.
That's not real, right? Like
superpowers?
Comic books are not real, right?
Are you sure?
You know that? I'm pretty sure.
Well, I agree to disagree. But I will say this. It was another character by Howard Hesseman. I feel like he's somebody different in every single sketch and believable and enjoyable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how about those graphics at the end? That CGI with the green. I mean,
Wow, that green glowing.
wow, just amazing.
Jane goes off to bed, turns off the light. I'm gonna catch some Z's, and he sits on the couch, and there's like that green glow on his belly.
But I got
Did you
stuck
think
on
he
that
was-
too, Brad. I got stuck on that whole lethargy thing too. Like, I don't understand what that is. I've never heard that being a symptom of being around nuclear power plants. I don't believe the superpowers, but I did not know about that.
Watch the Richard Benjamin episode, you'll learn. But I also kind of felt like they wanted to take shots, like jabs at nuclear power and that, and it felt more like slaps. Like they had to rein themselves in from what they wanted to do. I don't know. It felt like they wanted to do something and they just weren't able to do it to the max potential they wanted to. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it just felt like a lot was unsaid, like unspoken jokes that maybe were missing or just weren't that funny. And I'm not sure which it was, or maybe both.
Maybe.
Well, you can't miss Randy Newman. He comes on and sings the story of a rock and roll band.
One particular rock and roll band. ELO.
Mm-hmm. Again, Randy Newman. I don't know. I enjoyed it, Bill. You hate Randy Newman at this point. How do you feel about this
he's not playing
performance?
Short People, I Love LA. You've got nothing to do with this guy. Maybe the song from Toy Story. Maybe you'll give him that.
He is no Sun Ra, so I will say that. And I do not hate him. It's very samey. I just don't, did he need 3 songs?
No.
Maybe he could have done another sketch. I don't know. Like, that's just me. But I mean, there's not much to say as far as this particular song to me, but Randy
it's a fun throwaway song. I mean, I don't know. This is more in the vein, I think, of a Randy Newman song. I like Randy Newman, so this is kind of a fun song about an inaccurate history of the formation of ELO. Like, it's just so silly and stupid. If you listen to the words, you're like, what? At one point, I'm like, is he singing about ELO? He is, because I didn't really know this song until I heard it tonight. I was like, oh, he wrote a song about ELO. What the hell is this? So I don't know. I appreciated the funness of it.
I didn't know that either, so I'm going to have to go back and listen to that.
Yeah, he starts talking about like boys and they wanted to make a band and we want to call it something. And he says, no, I prefer ELO. And then he mentions ELO and they mention like phone telegraph line, like a couple of their songs are in the song. It's pretty funny. It's
Wow.
like, see, Bill, you have to listen to Randy Newman. You can't just hear him. You have to sit and listen to Randy.
Really have to dig in, man. Pull the vinyl out and
He's telling you a story.
Use some of those McDonald's spoons and do some coke and listen to Randy Newman.
And that's it.
Who do you enjoy least, him or Paul Simon?
I love Paul Simon.
It's kind of like the other side. It's like him and Paul Simon are the two, right? Like friends of the era.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and I'd totally take Randy Newman every time.
Thank you.
Yeah.
They are, I believe, like the only ones, maybe other than the Rolling Stones, who get that, hey, you can go out and sing 2 songs and then come back for another one. Like
in this era, yeah.
They're the ones who predominantly get it, I guess.
The band.
Unless you're doing a medley.
Played.
Oh, the band got 3. That's 2.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And the Kinks had their medley. Anyways. All this is to say.
Let's get to something else Gary doesn't like.
That's not what. Jane Curtin's next.
Oh, she is next.
What don't I like?
Oh.
You didn't think I would like this film? First Love?
I did not. You did? You enjoyed it?
Well, I really wanted to enjoy it because it was Jane.
Too. Yes.
I thought Jane was really good. I thought Jane looked beautiful in this too. So I was all in. And it's talking about Jane's first love, Walter Cronkite. And basically it just portrays Jane as a stalker of Walter Cronkite until the very end when the payphone rings and Harry Shearer, was that Harry Shearer?
Yeah.
Being Walter Cronkite this time? It wasn't Bill Murray.
No.
Yeah. I don't know. This is all shot on the street outdoors with Jane. I really wanted to like it more than I did, unfortunately.
I love this. I think this is great. It is a weird choice to have Harry doing this, right? With Billy still in the cast. Like, he's done Cronkite so many times, famously did him. But yeah, I mean, overall, I like this. I love these shot in New York films like this.
Yeah.
And especially having somebody like Jane front and center. This really, I don't know. I find this charming. This is somebody who didn't do a lot of films on SNL, right? Avina. Is that right? Aviva
Aviva.
Yeah. Had about 3 or 4 films in this era, but some strange ones with animals, right? I think she did
the Bird for All Seasons one. With Bill Murray, and the one about the dogs. Again, I think with Bill Murray.
Yeah,
that was.
So I don't know. I think this is really a nice little piece from 1979 that you get to see. Although when she goes into, I mean, this is the effect of cell phones on our life. When she goes into her pocket when she's sitting on the stairs, I swear she was going to pull out a cell phone. Obviously, that was not the case. She pulls out the pipe.
Walter's pipe.
Your brain goes there. Like, is she going to call him on the cell phone?
You didn't like this, Brad?
I'm with you, Gary. I wanted to like it. I thought the payoff was nice. I did like the ending. Like you said, she goes to a payphone to call Walter Cronkite at work, and she gets the secretary, and she's like, "I'll patch you through," and then it hangs up. But Jane tries to play it off that we don't hear the dial tone, and she starts talking, "Well, yes, of course," and plays off, then hangs up the phone, says something to why Walter's not there, and then the phone rings. And I like how Cronkite does answer. He does call her, and so I did like the payoff, but it took some time to get there, and it's kind of hard to stick with it so long.
You know what it is? I think I didn't like that they portrayed Jane as a stalker. Like, that it was Jane Curtin. And I think I just have such an affinity for Jane that I didn't want her to be portrayed in that way. That's all. I think that was my biggest gripe with it.
Were you upset that she was cheating on Harry Reasoner from earlier?
I wonder, to just guessing on the why Bill didn't do it. This is actually part of a longer piece called First Love. Actually, we actually see one with Bill Murray in it next week or the week after. And there's a part with Lorraine and with Gilda. If you go on her website, the filmmaker's website, she has the full film. It's like 12 minutes. And so maybe that's why Bill didn't do the voice, because as we've often said, Bill's not the best impressionist. And so you kind of always hear Bill Murray in the impressions he does. So if this was part of a bigger piece that included Bill, which actually came right after this, maybe that's why you go Harry Shearer. So there's no kind of confusion when you see Bill Murray if he was the guy on the phone. I'm just guessing, maybe.
Well, and because we've seen Bill do it, it kind of adds a level of campiness is the wrong word, but like it makes it a little goofier than I think the rest of the film.
Sure.
Tone, actually, the tone of the
film. Yeah, because Shearer plays it straight. It's like a straight Cronkite. Yeah.
Right. Well, our next sketch has Gilda playing a straight cleaning woman.
Gilda's on fire this episode.
Oh, sure is.
If this was today, Gilda Radner would be canceled, everybody.
This is Holiday in Horror. Bill and Jane play a couple, and they're trying to sleep, and Gilda bursts in to clean their room at 6:30 in the morning. And then there's another shot where she uses an axe to break down the door to clean their room at 6:30 in the morning.
I did laugh out loud at that. When she came back the second time, the door's locked. And that first hit when the axe hits the door the first time, I did laugh. That was pretty good.
We get Dan Aykroyd back in the building with voiceover. Oh, I'm sorry. That's Peter Aykroyd again.
This is where I made the note. I said, man, Peter Aykroyd sounds a lot like his brother.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah.
That's why he was able to voice the character in Ghostbusters, the cartoon.
Yeah.
That's right.
It's like when you don't see him and all this is the voice, it's very easy to fall back. Yeah.
It's crazy.
And how great is Jane? Like, she's got the scream queen horror down. Like, she just laying in that bed, even before the axe, screaming at the top of her lungs. She should have been in Halloween 8, the Reckoning.
She's great. She really is. And then they call Howard Hesseman. They call the front desk, and it's Howard Hesseman as the clerk, and he's just letting the phone ring and ring before he picks it up. I thought that was pretty funny.
Hello? They have a problem. You'll have to talk to the manager.
Yeah. It was a strange sketch. And to
It's
your
so
point,
bizarre.
Brad, like Gilda was something.
Again, Gilda pulling off one of her other, not to be done again characters. We saw this cleaning lady at that ill-fated Black Perspective sketch when we were like, what the hell's going on here?
Yes.
No, funny enough, this character would be brought back in Tommy Boy by David Spade. So,
oh my God. That's awesome. That's awesome. It's a total bizarre sketch. It's a total classic 10-1. But man, Howard Hesseman is great again. He's been on fire all night. Again, completely different turn. This weird, maniacal front desk guy. So he's 2 lines, but he makes the most of it.
Right.
And I love the graphics here. I love the fact that they actually use the Holiday Inn font from the 70s for the screen graphics as they talk about the horror movie.
Yeah.
And Gilda wiping Billy's face is maybe the best moment of this entire thing. Is trying to clean the room.
He's on the phone with the front desk and she's wiping the phone off and cleaning it while he's in his hand. It's so absurd.
It really is.
It is. And that's it. That's our show. We go to good nights. Howard Hesseman thanks everyone profusely. He thanks Randy Newman, which is not something we get normally in this era of Saturday Night Live. And he thanks radio for making TV possible.
It was juicy. He's wearing a committee t-shirt. That was cool. If I was wondering what he was wearing at the end of the night, then he turned around, you could see the back of the committee t-shirt on.
Yep.
Yeah.
Must have had some time to kill, eh? Kind of.
He was stretching. Ooh.
I feel like the last few weeks we've gotten very quick. Like, it's been great. Good night. And now Howard's like literally reading off every crew member's name one by one. Steve, thank you. Earl, thanks for that coffee yesterday. Randy Newman, these 4 dudes.
Yeah. I mean, I thought it was a really strong show. Like you said, Howard Hesseman was great. You can see why they bring him back 2 more times, right? But in one season, he hosts twice in one season in a couple of years. He was really good. I think this is another case for me where I was like, I wish the writing was a little bit better for this host.
Yeah, I think, and it's really interesting. He does come back 2 more times in the Ebersol era. And, a little bit of trivia for you guys. There's only 2 people who hosted in the original era who then hosted in the Gene/Dick era who came back when Lauren came back. And he ain't one of them. Do you know? Now, you should know one of them, but the other one might be a little bit harder to.
What is it? People who hosted in the original era and Gene and Ebersol and Lauren again?
Back.
Yes.
And it's 2?
Chevy
is one of them. Yeah.
I got one, Brad. You get the other.
Oh, God. Candace?
Terry Gard.
Oh.
Terry Gard. So I this is a conspiracy theory in my mind that these people were shadow banned for going on, even though he had given Dick his blessing. The fact, you had a lot of people like Elliot and Michael Palin and Carlin who came back during that era and then never came from season 11 on. And Howard was still around. So, he's doing head of the class.
The new WKRP in Cincinnati.
Exactly.
Let's not forget about that.
And don't forget about my Head of the Class podcast coming up soon. So, like, you had many years to do something with him in that second golden era. Could you imagine him working with Phil and Dana? Like, that would have been great. But alas, it's not to be. But I think this is a very, very solid episode for a rough season.
I agree. Solid episode. I also feel it's a very weird episode. I think, like, flow-wise, like we said, it was so odd that after Weekend Update, you had only had one proper sketch aside from the cold open. You had cold open, Bell Arabs, and then whatever. That being said, though, it also then felt there was a lot of material after Weekend Update, like a lot of sketches. So it's like something about just the flow of it all seemed odd. I felt you got a lot of different material, even though actually looking back, the vast majority of it were either like TV show satires or radio. But it just seemed there were a lot of different flavors, a lot of different voices. And again, Howard Hesseman, easily the star of the episode. It's like every time you saw him, he was doing something different. Not only different, but like fun and amusing and just really great. And that was fun to see. So I agree. It's definitely one of the better episodes we've had this season so far.
I agree. I think Howard Hesseman was the star of the show. I definitely feel like the little bit of screen time that Harry Shearer got, he knocked it out of the park this week.
Mm-hmm.
And again, Jane was great in everything that she did.
Yeah. Again, they got a good run going right now.
Well, Bill, what are your best bits?
I've got to say Stereo 105, I think is probably the best bit. Harry just, again, missed potential. I wonder what he'll ever do with his life after this. But, he really, really shines here for people who are very trepidatious about what's going to happen with season 5 with 2 of the main stars gone. You have to feel pretty good not knowing what's about to happen with Harry Shearer kind of filling in some of those roles. And I think this is one of the best instances of that. And Howard's probably his best piece of the night.
Yeah, I agree. Brad, how about you? What are your best bits?
Same. Stereo 105. It's all I got. I think pound for pound, it's an awesome sketch. I have a feeling at the end of the season, it'll be in our top 5. It's great.
Yeah, that was my best bit as well. Yeah, I can't say enough good things about that sketch. It was great.
And it's not because the other sketches are not good. It's this one is that good, I think. Like, it stands above in a decent quality episode. It's head and shoulders above everything.
Yeah, I agree. Well, Bill, thank you so much again for joining us. This was awesome as always.
Yeah, thank you, buddy.
What's going on with you and our friends over at the Saturday Night Network?
Well, we are rolling in season 51. Some saying the best season ever. So I don't know. No, you can catch me over there on various formats. We just wrapped up the greatest episodes of all time podcast during the summer. So make sure you go check that out as well. We had a lot of fun talking through that and trying to find the best 50 out of 988 episodes. So that was a blast. But thanks for having me. I'm always thrilled to come on with you guys. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, we're so psyched to get you back here for season 5.
Yeah, it's always great, Bill. Thank you so much.
Anytime.
Next week on the early years of SNL, we're talking about season 3, episode 7, with host Martin Sheen and musical guest David Bowie.
There you go.
Yeah, it's a fun one. I'm looking forward to that. Until then, good night and have a pleasant tomorrow.
Have a pleasant tomorrow.
Thanks for listening to the Not Ready for Primetime Project. Look for us on social media everywhere at NR4PT Project. And please drop us a line to let us know what you think of the shows, and frankly, because we're kind of lonely, at nr4ptproject@gmail.com. The Not Ready for Primetime Project team includes Brad Robinson and Gary Seith. Please remember to rate and review wherever you watch and or listen to the show. Thanks for listening. Good night, and have a pleasant tomorrow.
Shut up.
Brad's dog's a pain in the ass, Bill.
She is.
Brad, why do you do this? Do you do this to hurt us?